My dear children, how are you all? Welcome back to English class. In the previous video, we had completed section 1 from the lesson When the Trees Walked by Ruskin Bond. Now, let us recall what we have learnt. There are 3 characters, the author, his grandfather and his grandmother. Grandfather was fond of growing trees, but grandmother preferred growing flowers. They lived in a bungalow on the outskirts of Dehradun, planting trees all around. There was an old peepal tree. It damaged the walls of an abandoned outhouse. Grandmother wanted the peepal tree to be cut down, but grandfather decided not to, as he thought he could build another outhouse. As grandmother was fond of growing flowers, grandfather helped her out with the gardening because he loved to watch butterflies. Let's go to section 2. Grandfather wasn't content with growing trees in our compound. During the rains, he would walk into the jungle beyond the riverbed, armed with cuttings and saplings which he would plant in the forest. The meaning for content is satisfied. Riverbed, the ground over which a river usually flows. Armed, carried. Saplings, young tree. Beyond, to the further side of. So grandfather was not satisfied with growing trees only in our compound. During the rains, he would walk into the jungle to the further side of the riverbed, carrying the cuttings of stem and young trees which he would plant in the forest. But no one ever comes here. I had protested the first time we did this. Who's going to see them? Protested meaning is opposed or disagreed. It was the first time to go the further side of the riverbed to plant trees. The narrator asked his grandfather, "No one would come here to see these plants. Then why are you planting here?" "See, we are not planting them simply to improve the view," replied grandfather. "We are planting them for the forest and for the animals and birds who live here and need more food and shelter." Grandfather replied, "See, we are not planting these trees simply to improve the natural scenery. We are planting them for the animals and birds that live in the forest. They need more food and shelter." "Of course, men need trees too," he added, "to keep the desert away, to attract rain, to prevent the banks of rivers from being washed away, for fruit and flowers, leaf and seed. Yes, for timber too." Grandfather added, not only animals and birds, even human beings need trees. Trees attract rain. They prevent soil erosion. They give us fruits, flowers, leaf, seed, and timber. They are required to keep the desert away. Children, desert means a large area of land, usually in a hot region, where there is almost no water, no rain, trees, or plants. But men are cutting down trees without replacing them. And if we don't plant a few trees ourselves, a time will come when the world will be one great desert. People are cutting down the trees without replacing them. Children, when we cut a tree, we have to plant another one at once. Or else one day the world may become a great desert. My dear children, do you want our earth to become a desert? No, never. So, to keep the desert away, it's essential to plant more trees. The thought of a world without trees became a sort of nightmare to me. And I helped grandfather in his tree planting with greater enthusiasm. The meaning for nightmare is a frightening dream. Enthusiasm means great enjoyment and interest. At the beginning, the narrator was asking his grandfather many questions about planting trees. But now, the thought of the world without trees became a sort of frightening dream to the narrator. And he helped his grandfather in planting the trees with great enjoyment and interest. And while we went about our work, he taught me a poem by George Morris. Woodman, spare the tree, touch not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. Grandfather taught him a poem while they were planting the trees. It was written by George Morris. The poem was about not to cut trees and to protect them. Woodcutter, don't cut the tree. Let it free. You should not touch even a single branch of the tree. I will protect it now because it had given me shelter when I was young. One day the trees will move again, said grandfather. They have been standing still for thousands of years, but there was a time when they could walk about like people. Then along came an interfering busybody who cast a spell over them, rooting them to one place. Interfering means stopping. Busybody means troublemaker. Once the trees were walking like humans. Due to the curse of an interfering busybody, the trees have been standing in a place for thousands of years. But one day the trees will move again, said grandfather. But they are always trying to move. See how they reach out with their arms. And some of them, like the banyan tree with its traveling aerial roots, manage to get quite far. Even though their roots are fixed in the soil, they are always trying to move. Some trees try to move to a greater distance, with the help of their branches and aerial roots like the banyan tree. We found an island, a small rocky island in a dry riverbed. It was one of those riverbeds so common in the foothills, which are completely dry in summer but flooded during the monsoon rains. Rocky means a large mass of stone. Island is a piece of land surrounded by water. Foothills is a low hill at the base of a mountain. Riverbeds, the ground over which a river usually flows. Flooded, covered with water. The author and his grandfather found an rocky island in a dry riverbed. It was one of those riverbeds so common in the foothills, which are completely dry in summer but flooded during rainy season. A small mango tree was growing on the island. "If a small tree can grow here," said grandfather, "so can others." As soon as the rains set in and while rivers could still be crossed, we set out with a number of tamarind, laburnum and coral saplings and cuttings and spent the day planting them on the island. Tamarind means it's a tree which yields a pulpy, long, sour fruit used in cooking. Laburnum is a small tree with groups of yellow flowers hanging down. Coral, a tropical or subtropical thorny shrub or tree with showy red or orange flowers. They saw a small mango tree growing on the island. Grandfather said, "If a small tree can grow here, why can't the others grow? They too can grow." So, before the rain set in, they set out to the island with a number of tamarind, laburnum and coral trees, saplings and cuttings, and spent the whole day planting them on the island. Children, do you know India has more than 7,000 species of flowering plants? Tamil Nadu has more than 5,000 species. It's nearly 1/3 of the total flora of India. Flora means plants. It has the highest diversity in India. Diversity means range of different things. So Tamil Nadu has the highest diversity in India. The Western Ghats is the home for nearly 325 globally threatened flora, fauna, bird, amphibian, reptile and fish species. Western Ghats are a mountain range that is parallel to the western coast of the Indian peninsula, traversing the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Globally threatened is a species of animal or plant that is seriously at risk of extinction. Extinction is disappear. Globally, worldwide. Flora, plants. Fauna, animals. Amphibian, an animal that lives both on land and in water. Example, frogs, toads, etc. Reptiles, creeping or crawling animals. Example, turtle, crocodile, etc. Species, variety. So the Western Ghats is the home for nearly 325 globally threatened flora, fauna, bird, amphibian, reptile and fish species. Okay children, we have completed section 2. I will meet you in the next session. Till then, obey your parents, take care, have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.